All right, today we're stepping into the quiet, kind of mist-covered hills of rural India to break down a modern ghost story. And we're not just here for the jump scares, We're going to deconstruct this thing to really understand that powerful clash between ancient folklore and modern-day skepticism, and to see what makes a story like this so unbelievably chilling.
So it all kicks off with this simple but super ominous warning from a young man named Manish to his friend. It sounds like just a casual piece of advice, right? But it's actually the key to a terrifying local legend.
Okay, so our story is all about this guy, Gaurav. He's from the bustling city of Delhi, and he's tagging along with his friend Manish on a trip to his remote mountain village in Uttarakhand. He's all excited for the views, the fresh air, but he pretty quickly learns that this village runs on one single non-negotiable rule. Once that clock hits 7 p.m., everybody has to be inside. No questions, no exceptions. And this right here lays out the core conflict perfectly. For Gaurav, a city guy, this just doesn't compute. I mean, in his world, life is just getting started after dark, but here, it basically just stops. He sees the village's fear as nothing more than baseless superstition, a total opposite to his logical, modern way of thinking. And it's this exact clash between the urban and the rural, the new and the ancient, that really gets the whole story going. So you can imagine, Gaurav starts getting restless. He feels totally trapped by what he thinks is just a ridiculous, outdated custom, and so he makes a fateful decision. He's going to break that 7 p.m. curfew. He's going to prove to everyone that there's absolutely nothing out there to be scared of.
And the specific legend he's challenging? It's the Bhutan Ki Barat. Manish's younger brother, Rahul, tries to explain it to him. It's this idea of a spectral wedding party that marches through the village paths at night. And the folklore is crystal clear. If you're unlucky enough to see this procession, they will take you with them.
Gaurav's response is just complete and utter mockery. He cannot take it seriously at all. And this sarcastic comment, it isn't just disbelief, it's a deep disrespect for a belief that has governed this village for centuries. You could say it's the final nail in the coffin of caution. So later that night, he pretends he needs to use the outdoor washroom, and he slips out into the darkness. He pulls out his phone, hits record, and starts walking down the path, totally determined to get video evidence of, well, absolutely nothing.
And you know what? For a few moments, he feels totally vindicated. The mountain air is still. The only sound is this peaceful, distant waterfall. It's quiet, it's serene, it's completely ordinary. The perfect I told you so moment. But yeah, that feeling doesn't last long.
All of a sudden, this strange, piercing whisper just cuts through the silence. There's no source, no direction. It's just there. It's so sharp he feels like it could burst his eardrums. And then, just as quickly as it started, it's gone. Gaurav is left standing there, confused and, for the very first time, feeling a little bit on edge. And then things get really weird. He spots a dog up ahead on the path. He's an animal lover, so he starts walking towards it. But just as he gets close, it vanishes. Poof, gone. His heart starts pounding. A second later, he hears barking behind him. It's the same dog, now way down the path. And before he can even process what's happening, it disappears again, this time for good. Okay, this is not his imagination. Gaurav knows, right then, that something is very, very wrong. Okay, so at this point, Gaurav is absolutely terrified. He turns around and starts scrambling to get back to the safety of the house. The skeptic is gone, he's a believer now, and he just wants to survive. And that's when he feels a hand on his shoulder. He whips around and sees a man who looks completely ordinary. For just a second, he's flooded with relief. The man even warns him, tells him he shouldn't be out here, that the ghostly wedding procession is coming. It feels like he's found an ally in the dark. So Gaurav asks the man if he isn't scared, and the man replies with this terrifyingly calm sentence. I used to be scared, but one night my fear ended for good. Of course, Gaurav has to ask how. And that's when the nightmare really, truly begins. The man's face starts to contort. The story describes it gruesomely. His flesh just melts like hot wax. You can hear his bones twisting and rearranging, and his eyes turn a milky, dead white. Gaurav screams and runs for his life. But this creature is impossibly fast. He trips, tumbles into a thicket of bushes, and hides just as the monster seems to vanish. Shaking there in the darkness, you'd think Gaurav's ordeal would be over. But no, it's far from it. From his hiding spot, he starts to hear new sounds approaching. The very thing he was warned about, the very thing he laughed at, it's on its way. He hears the celebratory sounds of drums and shanais, these traditional wedding instruments, and for a split second he thinks it's a real wedding party. He thinks, people, they can save me! He almost steps out from the bushes, but then Rahul's warning about the Bhutan Ki Barat just echoes in his head, and he freezes right where he is.
As the procession gets closer, he realizes this is no human celebration. The marchers they're grotesque horrors. Their flesh is torn, their eyes are bulging from their sockets, their feet are twisted completely backwards, and every single one of them has this nightmarish, demonic smile plastered on its face.
He tries to make himself invisible, to not even breathe. But it's too late. One of the entities in the procession just stops. It turns its head slowly, that demonic smile widening as its eyes lock directly onto Gaurav's. In that moment, Gaurav lets out one final scream and then passes out.
The sun comes up the next morning, but for Gaurav, the night never really ended. What comes next is the tragic aftermath, the horrifying price for his arrogant disbelief.
And this timeline? Wow. It shows you just how swift and brutal the consequences were. In less than an hour, Gaurav went from being this confident skeptic to a victim of the very folklore he made fun of. By dawn, his fate was completely sealed.
When the villagers find him, the scene is just horrific. His body is hanging from a tree, but what's truly disturbing is that his limbs are twisted backwards, a chilling, perfect mirror image of the ghostly figures he saw in the procession. He didn't just die. It's like he was remade in their image.
In the craziest part, his phone captured the entire horrific ordeal on video, from the whispers to that final scream. And the very last sound on the recording is his friend Manish's heartbroken voice, a haunting eulogy that basically serves as the story's ultimate lesson. He was warned, but he just refused to listen.
And that leaves us with this final question, doesn't it? Is this story just a powerful cautionary tale? A metaphor about the dangers of disrespecting deeply held cultural beliefs? Or is it meant to suggest that there are forces in this world, ancient and powerful, that operate way beyond our modern understanding? I guess that's for you to decide.